Before the sun rises in a small town in Ohio, a delivery van quietly rolls down an empty suburban street. Porch lights glow softly in the early morning haze. The driver steps out, scans a package, places it gently near a welcome mat, and disappears just as quickly as he arrived. Inside the house, the family is still asleep. They don't know it yet, but the item they ordered late last night is already waiting for them. This simple moment, quiet, almost invisible, represents one of the most powerful transformations in modern economic history. A transformation driven by a company that has reshaped how people shop, how businesses compete, how products move, and how convenience has become the ultimate currency. Amazon is no longer just a website, it is an ecosystem, a logistics machine, a technological empire, a psychological habit, and in many ways, it has become the invisible infrastructure of global commerce. But how did this happen? How did a company that started by selling books become the dominant force influencing how trillions of dollars flow through the global economy? To understand this story, we need to go back to a time when the internet was still an experiment, when online shopping was unfamiliar, even risky, when most people couldn't imagine buying something without touching it first. In the mid-1990s, the idea of ordering products online felt strange. Stores were physical experiences. Shopping meant walking through aisles, pushing carts, standing in lines. The internet was slow. Credit card security was uncertain. The digital world felt distant from everyday life. Yet inside a small office, an ambitious entrepreneur saw something different. He saw the internet not as a novelty, but as a future marketplace, limitless in scale, unrestricted by geography, and capable of connecting buyers and sellers in ways the physical world never could. Books became the starting point not because they were glamorous, but because they were practical. Millions of titles existed. No single bookstore could carry them all, but an online store could. This early insight shaped everything that followed. Amazon wasn't just trying to sell products, it was trying to remove friction, to make buying easier, faster, and more accessible than ever before. And friction, it turns out, is the enemy of commerce. Every extra step in the buying process, every delay, every inconvenience, every uncertainty reduces the likelihood of a purchase. Amazon understood this deeply. From the very beginning, it focused on one core principle: customer obsession. Not customer satisfaction, not customer service, obsession. This meant constantly asking one question: how can we make this experience simpler? Over time, simplicity became power. As more customers discovered the convenience of ordering from home, Amazon's growth accelerated. But convenience alone wasn't enough. The company needed trust. Trust is the foundation of any marketplace. Without it, transactions collapse, buyers hesitate, sellers struggle. Amazon invested heavily in reviews, transparent pricing, reliable shipping, and return policies that reduced fear. It created a digital environment where customers felt safe making decisions without physically seeing products. This was revolutionary. Because once trust is established, scale becomes possible. And scale is where Amazon's dominance truly began to take shape. Traditional retailers were limited by physical space. A store could only stock what fit on shelves. Inventory decisions involved risk. Expansion required new buildings, new staff, new locations. Amazon's model was fundamentally different. The internet removed those constraints. The company could list vast numbers of products without needing traditional storefronts. But listing products is one thing, delivering them efficiently is another. This is where logistics entered the story, not as a background function, but as a strategic weapon. Amazon realized early that speed would be the future of online commerce. Customers didn't just want access, they wanted immediacy. Waiting weeks for delivery might have been acceptable in the early days of e-commerce, but expectations evolve quickly. Once people experience convenience, they rarely want to go backward. So Amazon began building an infrastructure that most consumers would never see. Massive fulfillment centers, advanced inventory systems, sophisticated algorithms predicting demand. Warehouses became data-driven environments where efficiency was engineered down to seconds, every movement optimized, every process refined. This relentless focus on operational excellence created a powerful feedback loop. Faster delivery increased customer satisfaction. Higher satisfaction drove more orders. More orders justified larger investments in infrastructure. And with each iteration, Amazon became harder to compete with. But logistics was only part of the strategy. The company also transformed how pricing works in the digital age. Instead of fixed price tags, Amazon introduced dynamic pricing, constantly adjusting costs based on demand, competition, and market conditions. This approach turned pricing into a living system. Customers felt they were getting competitive deals. Sellers gained exposure to massive audiences. The platform became a marketplace where supply and demand interacted in real time. And marketplaces have network effects. The more sellers join, the more products become available. The more products available, the more customers are attracted. The more customers arrive, the more sellers feel compelled to participate. It's a self-reinforcing cycle. Once this cycle reaches a certain scale, it becomes incredibly difficult for competitors to disrupt. Because at that point, the platform isn't just a store, it's a destination. Think about the psychology of modern shopping behavior. When someone wants to buy something, almost anything, where do they start their search? Increasingly, they start on Amazon. This shift matters. In traditional commerce, brands relied on shelf placement, store layout, advertising. These influenced purchasing decisions. In digital commerce, search results become the new shelf. Algorithms decide what customers see first. Amazon's platform doesn't just sell products, it shapes discovery. And discovery shapes demand. By analyzing customer behavior at scale, Amazon can recommend products with remarkable precision. Personalized suggestions create the feeling that the platform understands individual needs. This sense of relevance increases engagement, and engagement increases loyalty. But perhaps the most powerful strategic move Amazon made was introducing a subscription model that changed the economics of convenience. Prime wasn't just about faster shipping, it was about creating a psychological commitment. Once customers paid an annual fee, they felt motivated to use the service more often. The more they used it, the more valuable it felt. The more valuable it felt, the harder it became to imagine life without it. This is the subtle power of ecosystems. Amazon gradually expanded Prime beyond shipping. Streaming content, music, exclusive deals, digital storage. Each new benefit strengthened the perception that Prime was not just a service, but a lifestyle enhancement. Over time, this transformed Amazon from a transactional platform into a habitual one. Habits are incredibly resilient. When purchasing becomes automatic, when customers don't even consider alternatives, dominance emerges. But Amazon's ambitions extended far beyond retail. Behind the scenes, the company was building something even more influential: cloud computing infrastructure. Amazon Web Services started as an internal solution. The company needed scalable technology to support its growing operations. Instead of keeping that capability private, it turned it into a product. Businesses around the world began relying on Amazon servers to power websites, applications, and digital services. This created a new revenue stream, one less visible to everyday shoppers but immensely significant in shaping the digital economy. Today, countless online experiences are supported by Amazon's cloud technology. This dual identity, consumer marketplace and enterprise infrastructure provider, gives Amazon a unique strategic position. It operates at multiple layers of commerce simultaneously. From the moment a product is designed, to the moment a customer clicks buy, to the moment data is stored and processed, Amazon's influence can be present at every step. Such integration creates efficiency, but it also raises important questions. What happens when one company becomes so central to global trade? How does competition evolve? How do governments respond? How do small businesses adapt? These questions reflect the complexity of Amazon's dominance. For many entrepreneurs, the platform is both opportunity and challenge. Selling on Amazon can provide instant access to millions of customers. It removes barriers that once made international expansion difficult. Yet it also introduces intense competition. Margins can be tight. Visibility depends on algorithms. This dynamic illustrates a broader truth about digital platforms. They empower and disrupt simultaneously. And disruption has become a defining characteristic of Amazon's journey. Entire industries have been reshaped. Bookstores, electronics retailers, department stores. Some adapted successfully, others struggled. The speed of change caught many traditional players off guard, because Amazon didn't just compete on price, it competed on experience. Experience is often underestimated in business strategy, but when customers feel that a process is easier, faster, and more reliable, price differences become less significant. Amazon invested heavily in making the purchasing journey frictionless. One-click ordering, seamless returns, transparent tracking. Each innovation removed another reason for hesitation, and hesitation is often the last barrier between intention and action. As these barriers disappeared, purchasing behavior shifted. Impulse buying increased. Frequency of transactions rose. The boundary between browsing and shopping blurred. This behavioral transformation has ripple effects across the global economy. Manufacturers adjust production strategies, logistics companies expand capacity, marketing approaches evolve. Even urban planning can be influenced by the rise of e-commerce fulfillment centers. In this sense, Amazon's dominance is not just about market share, it's about systemic impact. It changes how value flows. It changes how expectations are formed. And expectations, once raised, rarely return to previous levels. Consider delivery speed. What once seemed extraordinary, receiving a product in 2 days, soon became normal. Then, same-day delivery entered the conversation. Now, in some cities, customers expect items within hours. These shifting expectations create pressure across the entire retail landscape. Competitors must invest heavily to keep pace. This investment race reinforces Amazon's advantage because it has already spent decades building infrastructure others are still trying to replicate. Yet dominance also attracts scrutiny. Public debates about labor practices, market competition, and environmental impact have become part of Amazon's narrative. These discussions reflect the responsibilities that accompany scale. As companies grow larger, their decisions influence more stakeholders. Balancing innovation with accountability becomes increasingly complex. Amazon's future will likely depend not only on technological advancement, but also on how effectively it navigates these societal expectations. Still, one cannot ignore the strategic brilliance that fueled its rise. The willingness to prioritize long-term growth over short-term profit, the relentless experimentation with new services, the culture of data-driven decision-making. These elements created a company capable of adapting to rapidly changing market conditions. Adaptation, after all, is essential in an era where consumer preferences evolve faster than ever. And Amazon continues to explore new frontiers: artificial intelligence, voice commerce, automated logistics. Each innovation has the potential to further reshape how people interact with products and services. Imagine a future where shopping becomes almost invisible, where predictive systems anticipate needs before customers consciously recognize them. In many ways, Amazon is already moving in that direction. Subscription replenishments, smart home integration, personalized recommendations. These developments hint at a commerce landscape where convenience is not just enhanced, but embedded into daily life. Such a future raises philosophical questions as well as economic ones. When purchasing becomes effortless, how does it affect consumption patterns? When algorithms guide choices, how does it influence individual autonomy? These are not simple issues, but they highlight why Amazon's story matters beyond business analysis. It represents a broader shift in how humans interact with technology, markets, and time itself. Because ultimately, what Amazon sells is not just products, it sells saved time. Time that customers can spend on work, family, hobbies, or rest. In a world where schedules feel increasingly crowded, this value proposition is powerful. And power, when combined with scale, can redefine industries. From rural communities receiving essential goods quickly to urban professionals relying on rapid delivery, Amazon's reach extends across diverse lifestyles. This universality strengthens its position. It becomes relevant to multiple demographic groups: teenagers ordering gadgets, parents buying household essentials, entrepreneurs sourcing inventory. Each interaction reinforces the platform's presence in daily routines. Over years, these routines evolve into reliance. Reliance evolves into dominance. But dominance is never permanent. History shows that even the most influential companies must continuously reinvent themselves. Technological disruption, regulatory changes, and shifting consumer values can alter competitive landscapes unexpectedly.
Amazon's challenge will be maintaining agility while operating at massive scale. It must innovate without losing the efficiency that made it successful. It must expand without overextending. It must lead while remaining responsive to criticism. Whether it succeeds will shape the next chapter of global commerce, because the company's trajectory is intertwined with broader economic trends: digitalization, globalization, automation. These forces will continue to influence how goods are produced, distributed, and consumed. Amazon is both a product of these forces and a driver of them. And that dual role makes its story one of the most compelling business narratives of our time. So the next time a package appears at your door sooner than expected, or a product recommendation feels surprisingly accurate, or a purchase happens with just a single tap, consider the vast network of technology, logistics, psychology, and strategy working quietly behind the scenes. Consider how a simple idea, reducing friction, grew into a system that touches nearly every corner of the modern marketplace. And consider what this reveals about the future. Because understanding Amazon's dominance is not just about understanding one company. It is about understanding how convenience shapes behavior, how scale reshapes competition, and how innovation can redefine the boundaries of what feels possible. The story is still unfolding. The warehouses are still expanding. The algorithms are still learning. The vans are still driving through silent streets before dawn. Global commerce continues to evolve, and Amazon remains at the center of that transformation.
If you found this exploration insightful, take a moment to reflect on how your own shopping habits have changed over time. What role does convenience play in your daily decisions? And what do you think the future of commerce will look like in the next decade? Because the conversation about Amazon is ultimately a conversation about all of us, our expectations, our choices, and the systems we collectively shape through the ways we buy, sell, and live. Stay curious, stay observant, and keep exploring the hidden forces behind the brands that define our world. This is Brand Story Lab,